Spoiler alert. So by the end of this video, it is expected of you to be able to do this type of beading technique. Okay, so stay tuned. Let's get right into it. So these were the bicons that I used. It came in different sizes and then different shapes. Yep. So this was it. This was the other type that I also added to it, but it was basically in the same shade. I used sequins too for the peplum section, and this is how the sequence was looking like. Okay, and also I used bicons blue in a very different color. Yep, that was the bicons I also used. Okay, yep, not forgetting the fishing wire. You can use 0.35 or you can use 0.4 depending on what you want, not forgetting our almighty needle. But you can decide to use a longer needle or a shorter needle. It just depends on you, the individual, and what it is available at the moment. Okay, so we are starting the whole section. So please make sure that you are really watching this whilst listening to the audios. So with this section, I was trying to make sure I maintain the same spaces between the beading that I was doing. Okay, I tried my best to maintain the spaces on each side of it. So I tried to use my tape measure to make sure that it would help me to be able to get the exact same measurement, so that it wouldn't be extremely different or it wouldn't go to a different direction that I would then like. Yeah, so I try to make sure I use my fishing wire. Okay, so with this type of pen that I'm using, with just a very limited heat applied to it, would just vanish from the dress. Okay, so that was why I used this one. You can, when you go to any craft shop in your locality, you can try and get some to buy. So here I actually passed it through the kente to the other side, and since the marking had already been done, it made it extremely easy when handling it, because I was able to maintain the exact type or the exact space and sizes, okay, in all like the beading sections. Okay, so here I was trying to make sure I follow the pattern based on the pattern of the corset. Okay, so one of the trickiest thing that I've noticed about kente beading is the fact that normally when you're working with these beading and all these crafty things, it's actually falls on to how the direction really is. Okay, so you follow the direction that has been provided. And then with corsets, like when it comes to the hip section, it is quite bigger than the waist section. Yes, just as any ordinary person, you know, we snatch the waist. So no matter what you're gonna do, you'll make sure that the beads beneath is quite more than the ones in the middle. That is the whole scenario. Like, that is what happens when you're doing this corset beading, especially with the pattern that I was using. Okay, yes, so this is actually what happened. And then it was because of the peplum, there was a bit of a curve somewhere, so I had to make sure I maintain the curve and just get right into it. Okay, so pretty much it depends on the patterns of your corset, how it was sewn, how the beading, the boning was being done, and then you go about tissue beading. So basically this is how I did it, and this is what I applied. Please take a critical look at the whole process. Okay, so I pass the needle through the kente and I make sure it doesn't come outside, like you don't see it outside. Okay, that is one of the things I'm really concerned about. Yes, try your best so that it just doesn't become a mess inside. But if you're a beginner, don't give yourself so many stress. Okay, girl, you get there. It's just a process. Little by little, you will finally get there. Okay, So yes, here I was trying to make sure that I maintained some amount of bicons, okay, and then I wasn't counting them because when I count them, some parts are quite bigger than the others. So depending on the pattern that I'm working around, that was what was determining the amount of bicons that I was using. Okay, so you realize that when it comes to the beneath, like the real down of it, the beads were more than when coming up like that. Okay, so pretty much that was that. Take that into consideration if you're doing this type of beading also. Yes, and this is what I'm actually doing. So I will repeat the whole process almost through all the whole beading process. Okay, so this is what I'm actually going to be doing here. Yes, so please take a critical look at it again. So you pass it through your kente, and because the markings had already been done, you would actually just move your pin to the other section, okay, to the front sides, and then you would get more bicons from your bead and spin, and then that is the whole process. So I hope you're enjoying this video. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to actually like it, share with your friends, okay? If you have any friend that have passion for fashion and want to get themselves equipped with fabric embellishing, please share this with them so that they can also learn some 1 or 2 things. Okay, so with this section I was repeating the whole process all over again. I do have a playlist for Kente beading where so many techniques have been applied in all the beading skills. So yes, you can actually check out on the playlist, which will be actually be in the last section of it. So when it comes to this section of it, this is how it was looking like, okay, before I came to complete the whole section. Yes, as you can see, yep, there was the same process that was being applied through all of it to get to this section, okay. And yep, please, yet when it comes to this section, we actually dealt with the blue bicons and crystals are just so beautiful. Okay, these glass, like they are extremely beautiful. The sparkles and everything is so nice, but be careful, they are glass. You have to make sure that they don't fall in any food or they don't fall on the bare floor, because if you step on it you can get a cut. Okay, I have had a lot of cuts from these bicons and crystals, and I think I should share this, you know. So with this section too, I wanted to maintain the same exact space between it, so I applied that same method that I did with the beginning to this section. So here I pegged my thread, I pegged my pins, I filled the pins with my beads, as you can see here, and then I was actually using the markings that I did. So you can see me passing through the kente to the other section. But when I get to this section, I'll use my bead and spin to fill it till the amount that I felt it was okay before I actually do the same whole process again. But hey, if you think you want to count it, you can count it. But this section, I really didn't want to count it because like corset shapes are not even, like it's so uneven. Some parts are smaller, some parts are bigger, some parts are medium. So when you think of, you know, doing the calculations like counting the bicons to use here and all of that sort, it's going to be extremely difficult. Okay, so if you use your bead and spin, or we can use your fingers or your hand to pick them up. So after you are picking them up, you try to check, like, is it enough? If it is not enough, you go back to get more beads or more crystals or bicons, and then you get, like, you can you know, repeat that whole process till you get to the last brim, because like these corsets are not even, they are not just like it comes in different, you know, the patterns, like the waist has to be tighter, the hip has to be wide open, the bust has to be quite normal, like, okay. So when it comes to it, you don't really have a standardized measurement that you would actually need to do that whole beading thing. So you actually do that by, when you feel like it is quite enough, you put it around it to check, is it quite enough? If it is not, you add some beads. If it's more, you just reduce the amount of bead you think when you remove it would be perfect. So when it comes to this section, this was how it was actually looking like, as you can see. Yes. So I'm finally going to end the blue section and then roll on. I hope you're enjoying this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, okay? Share with your friends, your sisters, your cousins, your church members. Share with them so that they can also learn something new today, okay? So with this section, that was what I was doing. I was trying to make sure that it was actually, the amount that I wanted, because I didn't want to count it. I don't want to count it because of the uneven section of this corset. Okay, so that is it. I passed it through the kente to where I wanted it to be because the markings had already been done on the kente. So I just had to follow the markings, and then I had to use the whole kente to be like the guide for me to finally complete. With this section, it was quite small, so I had to remove some of the bicons from it, because of how uneven it is. I think this process is quite fun than doing the countings, because like it's going to take a whole lot of time. Okay, so with this section there was nothing like that. So if you're not using the bead and spin, you can actually put your bicons in your hands and be doing it. As you can see here, it was actually left with the last section of the beading with the blue bicons. That was the reason why I did. And finally, this is how it is looking like. Yep. This is how the whole process is, and this is how the whole thing is looking like. And yes, I used to actually tie my fishing wire in the borders, but now I don't. I tie it on it. Okay, so as you can see with this section, I was actually tying it. Yes, I go around the fishing wires countless times, and then I tie it and then I cut it off. So with this section, I was actually tying it. Corsets are very, very fitted, and it has to fit the body, like it has to be tight on the body. So if there is a seed bead in it or there is a bicon in it, it might hurt the person, and you wouldn't want that. Crystals, like it blossoms, is so nice, it's so beautiful. So no one would actually even get to know that there are tie-ins on it. The wire is quite, you can see the wire, so there is no need trying to hide anything. This is the final look of it. This is the final project. See how the bicons are sparkling. Oh my god, I'm in love with this kente beading. Yes, and this is it on the client. Yes, you're taking orders for all your kente gowns. Send me a message on my WhatsApp. The link is in my bio. Okay, yes, so this was the time for the fitting. The client came around, and this was how it was looking like. Yes, she was just getting us some moves. Yes. I was so excited. She was so excited. Thank you so much, Atobia, for making us work on this beautiful, elegant kente. Okay, yes, the whole video of this has already been posted, so you can watch the behind the scenes of this video. Also, it has already been posted, so I would also leave the link in the bio. This was a final project, and yay, thank you all for staying till the end. XOXO.